Sup, everyone? All right. For the absolute zero people that watch my video, as you can see, I've got myself a camera and a microphone. And this is the fifth or sixth time I've tried to make the video because nothing seems to want to work the way it should. I would like to unify the field theory and quantum mechanics. The first thing I need to share with everybody is that light particles do not exist. There are no light particles. There are only waves. Now, the reason we think there are light particles is because our eyes cannot perceive waves. Our ears were designed to perceive waves, sound waves. See, sound waves and light waves are both effects of universal existence. They are notes played on subspace. Except where sound travels in single bands, usually, or a number of bands overlapping, light travels in multiple overlapping complex bands, all streaming in on the same chord. The reason this is easy to break down. You get a prism of crystal and you shine light resonant frequency into it, and the different frequency overlaps break down into their light spectrums. But they are the prism isn't separating light particles, it is separating the frequency, the resonant frequencies of light into their individual components from their overlap thing. It would be like getting a multi-band radio signal and then breaking down the different overlapping bandwidths. This is how light functions in universal space. Two hydrogen particles crack together to create a helium particle, and they play a note on universal space that travels out in waves. And anything these resonance waves interact with creates counter resonance for you to be able to perceive this thing in front of you. But the light particles aren't bouncing into it and coming back. The waves are interacting with the matter, and the resonant interactive effect is then passing into your eyes so your mind can perceive it. Nothing you think you see is real. Nothing you think you see is as you see it, because your mind needs to create a representation of the information to you to perceive, because everything you're looking at is happening in wavelengths, resonant frequency wavelengths, that needs to be perceived by your brain into a tangible, interactable representation. So your eyes create texture and shape and color and stuff out of these waves. But like your ears breaking down the different sound waves to determine bits of information, your eyes are doing exactly the same thing with the light waves. This is why you have a detector to detect the light waves, and the thing detecting it is consistent. It is a solid straight line of consistency. So we can see these waves going up and down, up and down, up and down. But our mind works in particulate information. It takes snippets of information we cannot see in a singular straight line. It doesn't work like that. So we see particulates of wavelength information. We see the parts of the wave. We see particles. But there are no particles because we're only seeing a part of like this overall thing. So if you drew a bunch of waves, right, and then just drew a line straight across the top of all the waves, all you've got are single points. They are the particles of light that we are perceiving. We are perceiving simply the tops of the waves. Yet the waves are always there. Your eyes just don't perceive them. Yeah. So there's no light. It's an illusion. Light is actually incredibly restrictive, because if you get a solid object, let's say an orange or an apple, right, and you sit on the bench in front of you, you look at it, what do you see? You think you see an apple, you don't. You see 1/100 trillionth of that apple. You see the surface molecules refracting light back at you with certain shapes and textures to tell you what that almost guaranteed is. But you cannot be sure it's an apple until you cut it open and see what it's inside. They do shows with this where they make food, like sweets, look like food, and then you got to guess if it's the real thing or not. The same is with our universe and with light. Light only gives us an approximation of information. It actually disperses accurate information. It bounces into stuff and then just goes all over the place. And we then need to try and make sense of what is happening with all this convoluted, overlapping information. It is incredibly restrictive because our eyes give us the illusion that if it can't be seen, it doesn't exist. Yet, if you close your eyes, and I'm still talking, I very much continue to exist as I know you exist, and my hand waving around and the video playing, and every damn thing is still happening. My eyes closed. Light does not make the universe real. Light just shows you some of it and gives you an idea of how far you can go. But if you want to understand the universe, you have to let go of your illusionary perception because your perception grants you a representation that your brain can understand. That doesn't mean your perception is reality. It is just your perception of what is happening. So if you want to understand the universe better, you need to close your eyes more and just think inwardly, focus inwardly a lot more because light will trick you. You can trick anything that sees with light, you can trick with light. You can trick with images. It's a lot harder to trick the ears and trick the senses on the skin and your internal senses and all that other stuff. They're harder to trick. But sound, light, they're the two easiest things to delude a person with. You can change their entire reality with sound and light. Everything. Make them think they're in a completely different place with sound and light alone. And their mind will actually start creating illusionary sensations within their new fictional space. It's crazy. You ask people who play 3D video games, so freaking you watch them. They'll put the headset on and then literally fall into the TV because in their head, that's where they are. And all the sound of reality is still going on, but their eyes are telling them you're going to fall over. This is so, and boom, your head butt the TV. Yeah. So light particle, lights, everything. It's an illusion. It's merely a perception we create. So I got through it. I hope that helped people, and I actually hope people watch the video this time. I actually went to effort this time, and I don't think I said once throughout that whole video. So you know what? Like and subscribe. Watch the rest of my videos. They're way more crazy than this one. Have a great day.